Good afternoon. Thanks so much for coming in. I know that over the last few days, there's been a lot of media attention, and there will continue to be, rightfully so, on how local governments are responding to the coronavirus crisis. I want to start by saying that I really think that we've got a great leadership team here at Gaston County, starting with Dr. Eagle and with Chairman PHILBECK. And I want to give Chris Dobbins in our Department of Health and Human Services kudos as well, because there has been so much planning and so much preparation in this county. It's really unbelievable on a daily basis. And even though we don't have our first confirmed case yet, we continue to work as if the virus is already present in our community, and we're making preparations as such. To give you a little bit of a high-level look at what we were just talking about, we had a meeting starting at 2 o'clock today. Dr. Eagle got all of the municipal managers and some of the mayors from the more than a dozen communities that are here in Gaston County to talk about what their planning and prep is, as well as how we can best coordinate our efforts to make sure that the citizens of Gaston County are safe. Some of the key takeaways that we found out literally just within the last 10 minutes, we heard from Sharon Paget at the Gaston Family YMCA. Now, while the YMCA is closed, they are going to open the PHARR YMCA, PHARR YMCA. It's going to be open for local blood donations. There's a huge need for that right now. It's one of the things that you probably don't think about, but a lot of blood drives have been canceled because people, rightfully so, are concerned about being out in the public. We're going to be working in the days ahead to make sure that that need is fulfilled, because that's still an ongoing need that never drops off. So we're going to be working with Sharon, and I encourage you to reach out to her for the details. Again, we just found out about that within the last 10 minutes, but they're going to be working with the American Red Cross to make sure that we have a blood donation collection point. She said that that's going to be open 5 days a week, and so as soon as that's ready to go, we'll be able to kind of let you guys know the exact details on that. But just to kind of give people a heads up that this is coming and this is a need, and we want people to be able to do this, but do it safely. One of the other things that we heard from Chris Peak and our partners at Caremont Health is that the hospital is stable. You know, right now we hear so many different rumors and so many different things go crazy on social media, but the hospital's in a good place right now. They're preparing to staff up on the what we think is a very likely scenario that we're going to end up with coronavirus in our community, and they're preparing for that. And they'll have more details in the days ahead as to their some of the things that they're going to be able to do to help keep patients safe and keep their staff safe. But they wanted to kind of let you know that message is there, that they're not in some sort of a crazy lockdown mode. They are prohibiting visitors right now for patient safety, but the hospital continues to operate, and we're really thankful for our partners at Caremont. We did speak with Dr. Jeff Booker at Gaston County Schools. As we said in the press conference yesterday, as Dr. Booker said, we're going to be opening up 11 feeding sites. They're going to be grab-and-go lunch sites. That's going to be from 10:30 in the morning till noon, and we'll get you the details about each of those 11 sites. There's a possibility that they'll open up more, but right now they like those sites because there's one kind of in each pocket of kind of the residential areas in the cities of Gaston County. So that's going to be available. Dr. Booker said that that's something that they're going to continue for as long as they have the resources to be able to do that Monday through Friday. And again, that's going to start tomorrow from 10:30 to 12. What I want to do now is I want to bring up Dr. Kim Eagle. She's the county manager. She's going to tell you a little bit about some of the plans that we have specifically as a county for some of the buildings and centers that we're going to be closing starting tomorrow morning. Dr. Eagle.
Thank you, Adam. We're currently at the county putting together a group of folks to evaluate county operations. We are taking steps to, as of tomorrow, close our public libraries in Gaston County. We're also looking at closing our museum. We will keep parks open. Having an open outdoor space for children and families to go during this time is very important. We will redirect staff from other areas inside of the county to do more frequent cleaning in the parks. We're also, as of tomorrow, closing our senior center. So we're continuing to evaluate all of our county facilities and taking input from what our municipalities are seeing and hearing across the county is a part of that evaluation. In addition, I wanted to share that our congregate meal sites, all of the participants in those programs is something that's of critical interest. We're very focused on the population in our county that is most vulnerable, so we are ceasing that operation. We will transition to a delivery process where those participants will receive 2 weeks' worth at our first delivery of meals that are shelf-ready. In addition, we will close our adult daycare, and we're in the process now of communicating with participants and getting that word out. So that's an update on some of the county operations.
Thank you. Again, I am very optimistic, and I feel safe with the team that we've put together. I think Gaston County is on the right track. I think Gaston County is leading. If you look at the new guidelines from the CDC, you'll see that that is something Gaston County led on. Mecklenburg County's already reduced their public gatherings from 100 to 50. So again, I think we're doing everything that we can do to make sure that we stop the spread of the coronavirus. I would still assure the public, and I want the public to know, there is no need to panic. There is no need to hoard supplies. If we will simply do 3 things, I think we'll be a better community, and I think it will help us tremendously when it comes to fighting the coronavirus. Number 1, stay away from large crowds. Number 2, practice proper hygiene. And number 3, make sure if you do feel any type of symptoms that you call before you come. I think if we can remember those 3 things, a lot of what you see on the media, what you see on Facebook, we can kind of push to the side. If we do those 3 things and do them well, we will be better off as a community, and I think we'll be at the head of the curve. Another issue I'd like to bring up is our local businesses. I want our business community to know that we are wrestling hard with every decision that we make to make sure that it does not affect business in a negative way. At the end of the day, it is to some degree, but we are talking to business leaders, talking to people throughout the community on what are the best ways or maybe even best practices on how we can address minimize the fallout from the different restrictions that we have out there. So I just want to make that clear to our citizens. I know if you turn on the TV, if you look at Facebook, or even look at your stocks right now, it can cause quite a bit of uneasiness. What I'm happy to say is, again, I do not think the coronavirus will affect the large majority of our citizens. I think if we remain calm, if we love our neighbor as we love ourselves, if we'll take the time to look out for others by making sure that we stay away from large gatherings, stay away from those centers or areas where the elderly may be, or those that have compromised immune systems and different ailments, I think we'll be better off from it. So that's the message I want you to know. It's not a time to hide or run away, but it's a time to avoid large crowds, and maybe on one-on-one or in very small groups, help your neighbor. Go and check on folks. That's the message I'd like for our citizens to know about, and that is something you can do.
I'm going to bring up Pastor Austin Rammel. He's the lead pastor at Venture Church up in Dallas, and he's going to be heading up a task force for us that we feel is really critical to dealing with the faith-based community and partnering with them as we move forward in the next few weeks. Pastor Rammel.
Thank you. It's good to see you guys again. My name is Austin Rammel, R-A-M-M-E-L-L. TRACY PHILBECK called me last night, I believe it was. We've been in communication for a few days. Essentially asked me to begin to organize the pastors of the churches across Gaston County We're forming a task force of pastors from different denominations, different ethnic, racial backgrounds. The effort is that we can be a hub of communication. The largest organization of people in Gaston County are the churches. When you add up 400 plus churches and all the attenders, there's nowhere that people touch each other's lives and touch the community greater than those. And so what we're attempting to do is form a channel of communication both from concerns from the citizens in Gaston County as echoed through their pastors and their churches back up to the county officials, and then from the county officials back out. And so tonight will be my first conference call with that task force. We'll be releasing those names shortly this afternoon of the pastors that are on that. I want to encourage you, if you attend a church and you have a concern, ask your pastor to follow myself on Facebook or one of the other pastors that will be named. John McCullough is a pastor who is also committed to serve on that task force with me and help organize it. You can follow us on Facebook. You can share those concerns with us along with the other pastors that will be on there. Dickie Spargo, Jeff Long, about every there's a large group of the growing churches here in Gaston County. They're all going to be participating. So feel free to reach out to me on that. Second, I want to encourage pastors. There's a conflict among a lot of churches right now between faith and responsible action. And so there's a little concern. Are we not living by faith if we're not gathering together as a church? And I just want to encourage you. We have passages like Romans chapter 12 that encourage us to submit to government authorities. We also know that how we love our communities is the greatest example of the testimony of Christ that we have. And so I want to encourage my fellow pastors out there and folks that are involved in church. One of the greatest things that we can say to our county right now is that we're a team, that we're in this together. And we have to recognize that although as a 40-some-year-old guy in a church that's mostly Gen X and millennials, we're very low risk from this disease. But we can become the risk to our community and our neighborhood if we carry it. And so the concern is the 3 to 5% of those who end up in the hospital. If we continue to gather as churches in large gatherings, we are accelerating the rate of infection. And although we don't have a confirmed case here, we all know it's likely here somewhere. And so I want to encourage you, we don't want our churches to be the headline in the Gaston Gazette that it got started in Gaston County at our church service. We want our churches to be known as the people who helped resolve the problem that did not help cause the problem. And so I just want to encourage you, let's not add to the numbers. The larger the big number gets, that means the more are in that 3 to 5% that end up in the hospital. And our hospitals simply cannot handle a spike of people getting into those hospitals. And so let's do our part. Let's make sure that we're mobilizing our people to serve our communities, to make sure the widows, orphans, those who are needy are being taken care of. I want to echo in leaving the meeting with the county commissioners and all the municipal leaders. They're working hard to make sure businesses are protected. They're working hard to make sure the needs of our poorest, neediest citizens are understood and met. As pastors, we're going to begin offering opportunities for us to step up with our churches and help supply those. And so follow me on Facebook, Twitter, whatever it might be, and we'd love to be able to hear your concerns.
Thank you, Pastor. And again, we want to express our sincere appreciation for Pastor Rammel, for Bishop McCullough, for everybody that's going to be joining that task force and stepping up. Because as Pastor Rammel said, the faith-based community is where most of our citizens are. And it's a really great way to be able to reach out and kind of explain what's going on here. Because I think a lot of times you only catch snippets of it on the news, and it can be very easy to think maybe this is overblown. But what I've seen in being here is responsible leadership, getting out ahead of this so that we can do our best to protect the citizens of Gaston County. With that, I'll open it up to questions.
Yeah, you talked about cleaning parks.
Yes, sir.
Talk to me about that again. I hear people coming in from outside the county to help clean parks.
So I'll bring up Dr. Eagle for this, but one of the things that we had Dr. Eagle on our call is a good example set by some of the municipalities with City of Belmont and some of the others that have closed rec centers and are redeploying those staff members to then be able to go out and clean parks.
That's
And
right.
maybe you can talk a little bit
Yeah.
more to that.
So it will be a matter in terms of taking care of the community and using our resources that we have at our disposal in the most responsible way possible. So if we close libraries, when we close the museum, we'll have staff that we can redeploy to clean our parks, to make sure that we stay on top of the conditions in those settings. We will likely redeploy resources to man our call center, because we have a hotline that folks need to call if they have questions. So we will look at our total resources in the county, and we will make sure that we're matching those to the needs of the community given these unique circumstances.
Talk to me about that decision to leave those parks open. Why did you decide as a group that it was so important to have that available to residents of Gaston County?
And I'll make a distinction here when it comes to parks and recreation. We have canceled all of our programmatic gatherings where we have large numbers of people coming together. So that has been canceled. Anything that's in the county control that occurs in a park, from a programmatic perspective, we have canceled. That the parks will remain open, however, so that's a resource that our community can enjoy. Folks can get outside, they can have fresh air, they can have sunshine, hopefully, in a way that allows for protecting the 6-foot separation. You can still visit one of our larger parks, or any of our parks for that matter, and have social distancing and still enjoy that amenity. So that's the notion behind the concept.
How is, especially the Gaston County Police, the Sheriff's Office, EMS, they're the ones who are in close contact with individuals. Can you talk a little bit about what sort of efforts they're doing to reduce that?
To protect, yes. So all of our public safety employees are the ones that are on the front lines in this situation. So we've been very diligent and intentional around making sure they're protected. So each agency has taken steps, given the nature of their business, to make sure that their employees are protected. In addition, we have an emergency management director that is very much engaged in learning from the state, evaluating our options, and making sure that all of the personal protective equipment that we need and various scenarios that we may face are evaluated and addressed. So we are taking a team approach and then tailoring those results to each of the agencies. And we have a fantastic team. You mentioned the Sheriff's Office, you mentioned the county police. We're in very close contact with all of the municipal police departments. So we're in lockstep together as a county. And then I don't want to leave out gyms, our emergency medical folks, because they're also first responders responding to folks who are in need. So we're looking at that collectively and then tailoring for each agency.
Was there any big points you guys took away? You obviously brought other municipalities in to kind of discuss what they were doing as well. Were there any big takeaways from the collective that you want to share?
We have been talking and building relationships across the county for a really long time. So it's a good thing that we have those lines of communication and we have those relationships, because we now face a crisis as a team. So one big takeaway for me, only having been here about 7 months in this role, is that how well we come together and how we function as a team. How we bring different voices to the table to put together a solid plan, and everyone has in their focus the citizens of Gaston County. That is the emphasis. That is the filter through which we evaluate all of our plans, all of the questions we ask each other, and it's a really beneficial process that is working and we will continue to utilize.
You guys mentioned some of those locations and services that are currently on hold as the county works through this, everyone works through this. I don't assume there's any time on anything right now. It's all kind of play it by ear.
There are different timelines for different pieces of the decision-making process. I can tell you that we will close our public libraries and our museum and our senior center tomorrow. In terms of county facilities, we're continuing to evaluate what we need to do in terms of protecting our employees, how we protect essential services, and how we build out that roadmap. That is all in process, and we'll keep you updated.
So there's no indication of an end point, though, on those programs that are ending tomorrow?
We will, so programs at the library, for example, programs at the museum, programs at the senior center have ceased, and those facilities will close tomorrow. We will make a comprehensive list and share that with the media as to other programs or facilities and how that might or might not come to bear.
Sorry, I
And I
mean,
can
are
check.
they closed indefinitely right now?
oh,
That's-
oh,
yeah,
no,
I'm
go ahead. No.
Sorry, I don't think I phrased that
Okay.
right.
No, 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 sir, and I realized what you were trying to get at there as Dr. Eagle was answering. It really is kind of, we're doing this on kind of a chunk basis, if you will. So we're looking at, for the library, it's gonna be closed through the end of the first week in April. What we're trying to do is take this, look at the new information that's coming in, and then kind of reevaluate. And we wanna give our staff members and the public plenty of time to know when it's gonna be safe and prudent to reopen those facilities. One of the things that I'm gonna be doing, and Dr. Eagle and others on our team that we've already talked with the library, and one of the options that we're looking at is having the library, even though it'll be closed to the public, having it be a pickup and drop-off point for books. We know that a lot of people over the next few weeks are going to be looking for things to do and resources, whether it's for students that need help or whether it's just for pleasure reading because frankly you might be a little bit bored. So we are looking at plans to make those 10 different libraries available as drop-off and pickup points, but doing it in a way that keeps staff safe and keeps the people that would be coming and going safe. Any other questions before we conclude? Okay, we'll be sending out a press release later this afternoon that'll kind of recap everything that we talked about here. If you have any further questions, don't hesitate to call. Thank you so much.